Aha, live with Linda. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day and enjoying the nice weather. Boy, it is nice out there today. How about you, Linda? How you doing?
Oh,
You're
it's
not. You're not.
fantastic.
You're not working from your office. Where are you?
I'm off. I'm in my office.
You're outside office. I like
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. Got
Enjoying
it.
the weather. You and Harry enjoying the weather.
Harry
And
is
everybody's going to
also
wonder who
here.
Harry is. Harry is Linda's new cat.
Yes, he's my new furry friend, and he's
Yeah,
just
he's
adorable.
yeah, he is. He is.
It was a bit of a stretch. So here we are going to talk about what's bugging you.
Yeah, now that's a real broad brush to start off with. Man, we could be here for days. What's bugging you? Where do you want to start? Let's say
Literally
political stuff's off the
table.
table. Religious stuff's off the table. What else can we talk about? Okay,
How about the real thing, like literally the bugs?
bugs. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So where do you want to start? What bugs you? Well, the first thing I think of is mosquitoes.
Yes, and people are always wondering what attracts mosquitoes to me and not other people at the picnic table or on the deck. And, as Canadians, we want to be out there as much as possible during our summer months. And with all this extra rain we've had just recently, the mosquitoes are fast and tiny and furious, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and the problem is you get these you want to you start spraying yourself with all of that mosquito stuff, and the smell that comes off you reminds me of my grandmother overdoing it with the cologne or the perfume, and you could see the waves of fumes coming off her. That's what happens when you spray yourself with that bug spray, which I don't
Yeah,
use.
yeah, because a lot of them do seem to be containing fragrance now, which is another annoying thing, in my opinion. And I don't want to be downwind or whatever of anybody that's spraying themselves because
No, me either.
they do it too liberally. And, there's lots of recipes out there that people have been using over the years, and Skin So Soft was one of them. And, it's an old product, and I would dilute it, and you can easily dose yourself with that and not feel that you're going to be exposing yourself to some of these harmful chemicals. Which, why are we worried about it? It's because they will affect our sensitive lung tissue, and
Hmm.
it will also have to be processed through our already burdened livers.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Because you spray it on you. Well, your skin's just going to absorb that in, and yeah. Oh, yeah. That
Yeah, yeah,
nasty
yeah.
stuff.
So, yeah, it is. It's not the best. And if you happen to be one of those unfortunate people, blood type O's seem to really attract um, mosquitoes or biting insects. They can sense a blood type, and I'm going to delve into that a little bit more and get back to people if I find out something interesting as to what characteristics they're zoning in. And also dark colored clothing. So if you wear anything like black or
Black. Yeah.
brown or green, even red, they seem to uh, zoom in on those types of individuals. They can sense carbon dioxide. So if you're breathing heavily from
Yeah.
exercise, that will also
Oh, wow.
attract these
S- s-
annoying things like, oh, horse flies. That's the other one that just, when
Oh,
you're up
yeah.
hiking at elevation, you've got those horse flies to contend with. And yeah, they seem to be very persistent. And that's when I take a 2-ounce little spray bottle and I mix it with some essential oils, typically citronella, eucalyptus, um, even a bit of frankincense, anything sage, those more powerful smelling scents.
And
If
they'll
you can't tolerate that, you can do peppermint.
and that will
Most
keep
people
them
do.
that'll keep them away. Will that keep the mosquitoes away too?
To a greater or lesser extent, as with
Oh,
any natural products, you have to be continually spraying it
right.
and or reapplying it. So if you have to give up, which I confess there's times when I'm out there and I've had enough. I will carry some DEET with me and apply it only to my clothing. So,
Okay, that's
the
a good point.
collars and socks and things like that. And
Right,
that's usually hems of t-shirts or pants or shorts. If
right.
you're going to go that route, shorts, I
Yeah,
don't know, mosquitoes, shorts.
yeah.
Doesn't
No,
sound like a good
no,
combo.
no, definitely not. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. So, what other things? What other things do we have to worry about in the summertime? The bugs. What about wood ticks? Now that people are going out camping, that's a something that you know, Lyme disease, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What's your thought
So
on that?
yeah, we could actually do a whole program on Lyme in it itself because here in the Rocky Mountains, and we don't know they're not large. They're the size of a pinhead when they're very immature. You're never going to really see them. Ouch!
Yeah.
Something just bit me. Um, um, Lyme disease is a bacteria, and people when you start researching it, those that type of bacteria supposedly has been around for thousands of years. You even start noticing interesting articles about potential bioweaponry because of where it's concentrated in the northeast United States. So in the state of New York and Maine, they have the highest concentration of Lyme disease individuals. So it's kind
Wow.
of peculiar that it would be somewhere heavily populated.
Yeah.
So is it a possibility? I don't know. I'm not saying I believe in that theory. It's just very interesting. If people are concerned about a tick bite, usually there's some good photographs online that show a wheel, like it's a red circle with white in the center and a dot, like a bullseye
Oh yeah.
appearance to it. But I've also seen tick bites that don't look like that at all, so don't go thinking that just because it doesn't appear that way it wasn't a tick.
Right. Right. And can the little ones that are like a pinhead, are they should you be concerned about them too, or just more the mature ones?
I don't know, you could take some identification off them.
We'll no. I'm just wondering, not about Lyme disease. It's just whether they will burrow or what have you. But like you said, we can go into a separate one on the Lyme disease and stuff like that. But what other things that bug you? Did you want to talk about?
Well, I'll just finish off on that Lyme disease. If people are concerned, taking some black walnut um, and wormwood or artemisia, hydrastis, and even some andrographis. Those are four herbs that are somewhat antibacterial, antiparasitic, antiviral, and they have a strong taste. But it's not going to hurt you to take a teaspoon of those concentrated herbs once a day for 10 days if you feel that you may have been exposed being out in the woods. These are people that I are regularly outdoors, and they've been searching for golf balls too long in the tall grass,
Right,
just been maybe bushwhacking. It doesn't hurt to take some of that, and it actually will benefit your own um, flora in your body by just eliminating some of the not desirable microbes. Let's put it that way.
right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool,
So a
cool.
10-day treatment around that would be helpful. And another bugging me bug thing that comes in at this time of year are leeches. So
Oh
people at the
wow.
beach may have got leeches. It doesn't hurt again to do a course of some of those herbs I just mentioned, and you can have salt with you when you're camping to put on a leech, and it will fall off, let go a lot easier than trying to stringy
Yank it
pull it.
off. Yeah,
Yeah, not so good.
not so good.
So
No.
no, no. And that's probably covering the basics of what I find is out there annoying people at this time of year. And uh, I guess we could slip over to what's bugging people in their gardens.
Mm. Yeah.
So how can we reduce our exposure to chemicals and pesticides and different pests like ants
Yep.
in your garden without compromising our health and exposing our pets, young children. Pets and young children have a different type of surface area. It's very much more compressed, and they would be more easily affected by any of these chemicals.
Oh, wow.
So what can we do instead? So the one that I just recently tested was I have an ant problem in one area of my yard. So I just my dad said, "Hey, use some boiling water." Perfect. So I boiled several pots of water and poured that on the anthill, and lo and behold, they seem to have moved on to elsewhere, or they were, you know, met their demise with the hot water. But you have to do it again. It's a natural process that you're using. You
Right.
have to use it frequently to get the effect or the benefit.
Yeah, I tried last year, I tried vinegar,
Yeah.
dousing the thing with vinegar, and then I think I did the hot water too. And they're not there this year, but they
Yes.
were, yeah, they were in a certain spot last year, but I'm sure they've moved on to someplace else.
Right. Right. So yeah, vinegar and water. Vinegar can potentially kill your other plants. So you have to
Yeah.
be mindful of what you're
Yeah.
putting that on.
Yeah.
Mushrooms seem to be another thing these days that are popping up in gardens and lawns, and you can just remove those. And I have used the baking soda and water, so 2 tablespoons of baking soda in some water, and I repeatedly. So if you get another rainfall, then you should get out there and do it again. So basically, you're alkalinizing the soil more in that vicinity
Ah.
where they like to grow.
That's good to know because I do have mushrooms growing on my lawn and wasn't sure how to deal with that. So that's good to know.
And an alternative to the baking soda, if that doesn't seem to be helping, is just using something like Dawn dish soap or Sunlight dish soap. And again, making up a solution in water, diluted, and just pouring it on that area seems to be
Work as well.
effective. Yeah.
Okay.
And other things to get rid of it, ants, interestingly, was artificial sweetener because they like sugar.
Oh, really?
So if the note to ourselves, if the ants are going to die because they're consuming artificial sweetener, maybe not such a good
Hmm.
thing for us to be doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey, I got a quick question, and just because we're starting to hit nice weather, what's your thoughts on sunblock?
yeah. Sunblock, one of those things. Well, there people talk about PABA, they talk about zinc oxide. At the end of the day, it's watching your exposure at the height of the day and being covered up, like
Yeah.
wearing a hat. Um, there are classic areas where you see people have skin cancer develop, and it's on the tips of the ears because if a ball cap is what you're wearing, it's not protecting your tops of your ears. Um, so I think I would just go ahead and either put a zinc oxide paste on there. That's actually healthy for you because you're going to get some extra zinc out of it.
Now,
And
what
on your
about
nose,
those
chin.
commercial ones that with the how do they the I can't remember the number, but they have different numbers for
SPF, sun
SPF.
protection factors. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of those commercial off the shelves ones, are they kind of like the spray on stuff against mosquitoes where they got chemicals and stuff that maybe shouldn't be slathering yourself up with that?
Yeah, like try to avoid para amino benzoic acid is the PABA part of use for sunblocks. Uh, for the effectiveness, you can try washing it off. That's why they tell you to reapply after you've been swimming. But it still gets absorbed into your system.
Yeah.
And I guess you can do your best to do some research and test it. I wouldn't test it on a day that you know you're going to really need it.
Mm-hmm.
Those days I would just stick to what works. They're always studying new things to come up with that aren't chemical. I was really interested in a study at Cook Captain Cook, but University Cook in Australia, Townsville. They were studying the SPF, sun protection factor, of starfish because they had something like 120 SPF ability,
Oh wow.
because they would be clinging to the rocks as the tide goes out. They're still left exposed to the sun, and yet they could survive. Not only did they not dry out, but they didn't get a sunburn. So there's there's lots of new things that are coming up and available. So do some research on some of the products that are out there, because there may be some new ones that I'm not familiar with right now. But we can certainly look into that more for people that are following this.
Yeah.
And if they have something that's come up, I'd love to hear from them, because I can't do all my homework all the time
Yeah.
in a timely manner, and that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But
No.
the interesting thing about sun and sunstroke and just overheating is staying really hydrated. And people that should take note, if they get welts and hives from being in the sun, it means they have a histamine load in their body, they have toxicity, they have poor circulation, their cooling mechanism isn't obviously working, and they should really get to the bottom of how that can be corrected, and
Right.
so that they're at less risk of enjoying themselves out in the sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's, yeah, that totally makes sense. Totally makes sense.
So I don't want to say the sun's bugging me, because if I feel like I don't get enough of it.
Yeah. No, and it doesn't bug me either. It's just, some of the precautions you need to take, right? To, so that you're not getting, like me, I'm fair skinned and I don't tan. I crispy.
You
I
you
I
get a little
crisp.
crispy.
I get a little crispy. So yeah. So for those of you who are out there in the sun, my one of my sons, Matt, he uh, he always forgets to wear a hat.
Ah,
And he's a redhead, so when he gets out there, like he looks like a lobster. He just burns, and then he'll put a hat, and then he'll slather himself up with some commercial grade, or over the counter grade sunblock. But yeah, these are the things. Well, you got all these bugs that bug us, and then you've got other elements that you kind of gotta watch out for, right?
oh yeah, and circling back to the what's bugging me is I really dislike fertilizers that carry glyphosate, and people that use that on their lawns or to kill weeds. I mean, if you keep your dandelions down by manually removing them and just taking care of it that way, I find is healthier and better for everyone, because we've just got so much of that in our water systems
Mm,
now, that like anything you purchase organically, technically they're not supposed to have been used glyphosate on. They use it for drying purposes and ripening of our
oh,
food.
oh
Oh,
yeah,
it's shameful. And they like to say short term, whatever that means, it's not harmful, but it's an accumulative thing. So over years,
yeah.
it can cause kidney damage, liver damage. There's lots of studies coming out where it's associated to cancer, and I just don't understand why we still have Roundup on our shelves.
Oh, geez, yeah, I totally agree with you. I'd rather use natural stuff and keep not myself healthy, but planet healthy too, with all the
Oh,
stuff we're throwing at it. Eef.
yeah. It's so that's a thing that bugs me in this.
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah, me too.
And people spraying in my neighborhood, and then I'm enjoying having my windows open, and I'm sure lots of people do, and then you get this wafting in of some horrible pesticide smell or
Yeah,
what have you. It's just, it's shameful.
it,
We should really know better.
we should, but yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. It's the sprays for the weeds and sometimes they even because we close to us we've got a pond and they don't hear, but I know in some places they'll spray for mosquitoes around there. They don't hear, thank goodness, But and then they spray for that. Well, guess what? You're breathing that stuff in too, right? It's like,
Yeah, and it's accumulative, and we have to watch out. Again, I want to emphasize body size, our
yeah.
kids and our pets and all that good stuff. So, um, that's part of my what's bugging you this summer.
What's bugging me? So for those of you out there that are watching this, what's bugging you? What kind of things are bugging you? What kind of things are you concerned about? I mean, we're all about health here, so things that like the spray for the mosquitoes, or the even the spray for ants, or the different things you can use for ants or other bugs. Hey, that comes right back at us, and then stuff like we talked about sunblock and stuff like that. So what's bugging you? Put that in the comments below. Let's see what you have to say, and then we can bring that up in one of our other live streams. But there's a lot of things that can bug us during the summer, and some of that stuff is really not healthy for us.
Preventable. Well, it's preventable, and I think I just want to leave the whole notion and discussion today on, if it's not working, repeat it more frequently. Don't give
Hmm.
up right away, and do a little bit of research before you reach for some of these chemicalized products, and just see what can I use that is maybe more pleasant smelling,
Yeah.
i.e., the essential oils for mosquito repellents and
Hmm.
and so on. And there's lots of information there that you can, right at your fingertips, as we know,
Yeah.
can can be an option to what else you're thinking you're going to use. So don't give up. That's
Yeah.
on it right away. Keep at it, and you'll get some results, and be happy that you didn't contaminate yourself or your property.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree. Totally agree. Well, thank you very much, Linda. This is great. For all of you out there, I hope you're enjoying again the weather, and consider the things that were discussed today, and see how you can apply them into your life, and maybe change a few things up, um, and we'll go from there.
Shoot us a message anytime.
All right. All the best,
Take care.
everyone. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.